When I left bedside, I thought I was prepared to run a business, but the business side nearly sank me. So today I'm breaking down what you need to know to start in the beginning so you can avoid this. So we are going to cover today the nurse versus CEO mindset, hidden costs that catch nurses off guard with their businesses that you will want to know, the difference between cash flow and profit, business systems that nearly saved me, 5, what most nurses start off doing that you should definitely avoid. And number 6, what you can actually start doing today to set yourself up for success. So let's start off with the nurse versus CEO mindset. And yes, there's a big difference. And yes, I learned this the hard way. So as a nurse, sometimes we're like, oh, I'm really good at IVs. I can start an infusion business. Yes, you can be good at IVs, but you have got to learn the business side of things. Otherwise, your business will not survive. It will not. And I can tell you from experience, being a nurse who has started my own infusion business and now runs a profitable mobile infusion business and teach other nurses how to do this. So as a nurse, we are really taught how to care for patients, but we are not taught how to run a business. And so that you have to be prepared to learn some of the things along the way, or you're not going to be successful. Learning this in the beginning will save you a lot of headache and stress. You can't just be the nurse and kind of run a business without good systems in place to help you do this. And so I'm going to get into this more. There are hidden costs within the business that often catch nurses kind of off guard. So when you're starting up, a lot of times malpractice is more expensive than what you would think. I can give you an example. Everyone's different. Let me just give you an example. For me, covering my business and 2 RN licenses, it was about $1,600 a year for the first year. No, that actually is not terrible to pay. But if you're not prepared to budget for this and you're like, oh my gosh, there's another couple thousand that I gotta shell out. So that at malpractice, the liability insurance are very important. And yes, you need a budget for it. Lawyer cost with startup, that is very highly underrated. And yes, there is a specific type of a specific type of lawyer you'll want to use, and it makes a huge difference. I have a whole other video on that, but that is a big cost. And a lot of times nurses see that and they're like, well, I can get away with skipping that. Your business will get cracked down on some point when it starts to get regulated in your state, and you do not want to lose your license or hurt a patient or do anything with your business or lose your business because you did not do this step. Very important. Number 3, mileage and travel cost. This might not seem like much, but if you really keep track of stuff and look over time, it actually does add up. And having a plan for this will save more money to put in your pocket. For example, whenever I do infusions, when I do infusions, I try to group them all in the same area. You can't always do that. It does not always happen, especially if you're still trying to build your clients. When I have my nurses do infusions for me, each stop that they do, I pay them $6, and that is kind of a little fund for them to start for gas and kind of just build up like a maintenance fund for them. And then the EMR, so pretty much your charting system, the website development, booking software, they are not just luxuries. Let me tell you, they will make your life so much better. Someone, I don't remember, I don't even know who told me, but once I heard this, it clicked for me in our business. It just really changed the way that I did things. Someone told me, whatever system you're doing, like whatever you're making, whether you're making how you're going to chart, whether you're making what an infusion looks like, how you call and greet someone before, if you can make that duplicable, so not just you know how to do it, but whatever you can do, either one person can do or 1,000 people can do, that is how you should do it. And that helped me so much because that will save you when you go to hire nurses and you're in that like growing and scaling point. It's not like, oh man, I have all my business, I'm the only one who knows how to do this. How do I teach someone how to do this? Instead, you have, how you chart, how you greet a patient, what do you say during an infusion? Like, what is the layout that you're gonna like? Are you gonna introduce yourself, do vitals, follow the provider, and then do you check in with them after? By having all of this written out, emergency protocols, it will help in the future when you start hiring nurses. You're like, I already have written out how to do these. This is kind of like what I'm going to teach you. And let me tell you, that makes a huge difference. EMR charting system. It is, I'm telling you, yes. We pay like, I think maybe $104 a month for our charting system. We use Jane. I would not paper chart. It can keep track of stuff so much better and it's so much easier. And we do a lot of memberships and it can manage all of that and it's HIPAA compliant. So, just get yourself a charting system. It does not have to be an arm and a leg. It will be so much easier. And it also has our booking. You don't have, like, you can book within our EMR. So it makes it really easy. Websites. I would highly encourage getting a website. And what I did not do, I built my own website in the beginning. Yes, it worked, but like someone once told me, it's actually the guy that we use for marketing now. He's amazing. He gave an analogy that's like, you can have, say, like the best shop infusion business, the cutest, you have the best infusion services, whatever it is, in the middle of a desert. And if there's no road that comes to your business, how is anybody going to find you? That is the exact same way with your website. You can yourself, design a website that can work and people see it, but if there's not certain things like SEOs, which are search engine optimization, if all of this is not keyed in correctly, which as a nurse we really don't know how to do that, and I've learned how to do a lot, and that is just kind of above. It's really hard to learn. People go to school for that. Let me just tell you that. Not everyone, but they go to school for that. So it's not just an easy thing to pick up. But paying someone to do that for me, do it. Just do it. I promise it will make you easier to find online, which is going to mean more patients coming to you. And also, we did not do ads for the first year. We are starting them now. If you can't afford it and mark that into your budget, I would highly recommend doing it, because really what ads will do, it'll help speed up your growth. I can tell you, we paid off our business without ads, and you definitely can do that. It'll take a lot of hustling on your end, like doing events and just social media and all that, but just ads will kind of speed up that process. So if you can, I would advise it, but if you can't, you can make it work. I definitely did. Okay, so those are kind of the hidden costs, some of the main ones, especially with startup and when you're up and running. Cash flow versus profit. I think a lot of businesses do this. So if I make $1,000 in a day, I cannot actually bring home $1,000 in the day. I can tell you for our infusions, let me break it down. For each infusion, let me just break down when I do it. When I do an infusion, I just know roughly 25 to 28%, depending on the infusion, is of that is the supplies cost. So I already know, let's get a calculator out. I already know that, let me do math. We're just gonna do 28%. So 72% of that is already gonna be left after that. After the supplies, then you have your taxes, which it's hard to say because really you don't pay taxes just off of that. You have your expenses that you spend each month. So your charting system, your website, your EMR, we already said that, like your marketing, all of that are expenses that you pay. So let me just give you another example. If I make $10,000 that month and my expenses, again, this is very high, I'm just making it up, are $5,000, then I am only going to pay taxes on $5,000 because that is what I actually made. So you take what you made minus your expenses. But a lot of people nowadays, let's go back to like, say I made $1,000 that day. Some people will go ahead and just go spend that. That is going to get you in trouble. You're not going to be managing your money right. This is don't do it. Just learn. So if you can understand, so again, for me, I know 100% minus 28%, then I have 72% back. And then I usually guesstimate 20-25% of that. I overdo it, but just say, let's go back. We'll just say 20% is going to go to taxes. I'm just making that part up just because it does fluctuate each month. So roughly I bring home, and I can tell you 50 to 60% of each infusion. Sometimes it's more if I have more marketing expenses or a big expense that month, but generally 50 to 60%. If I have a nurse doing an infusion for me, subtract another 25%, because that's what we pay nurses. So that kind of gives you an idea of okay, I made this much, but I actually brought home this month so much. So if I did I might make $500 to $600 of that $1,000 that we actually made. So knowing that and understanding that, especially in the beginning, figuring out how much each infusion cost, do it. I promise you, just do it. It will make your life easier. And also another thing that helps is getting a bookkeeper. I should have done this in the beginning. It's only $200 a month, at least for me. And I know that sounds a lot in the beginning, but man, it is so nice. She is going to she categorizes all of her stuff. I don't have to worry that I'm gonna tax-wise do something wrong. I just give her all of my information and she does everything for me. So that is another thing that's very helpful. You can do it on your own. I did it on my own. If you're not comfortable with it, then just get a bookkeeper. Just get a bookkeeper, and I will link mine below. And if you want, you can always literally reach out to her, do a consultation. She'll tell you, you say yes, no, move on with your life. It doesn't hurt to reach out. Okay, let's keep going down. So business systems, number 4, business systems that saved me. So again, we kind of already talked about these, but charting, having my charting system, just do it. I would say just do it. And then I actually started now. I should have done this in the beginning. It took me only a year and a half to start doing it. I started making standard operating procedures. What that means is a step-by-step what you do for each process. So for when I have a patient infusion, it's always the day before. You text them, reach out. If they don't hear back from you or you don't hear from them and they haven't confirmed, you call them that night and then follow up with a text. And if for some reason they still don't get back to you, then you are just going to tell them that you have to reschedule. That really will save you, because there's more patients that might be available that we need to help. And if we just don't know, sometimes it's it just takes more resources. So for that, that whole process right there, I go through and I write everything out. That way, of course, I know how it works, but when I hire a nurse, I'm like, hey, this is how it works. If you do all of that in the beginning, it will save you, versus now, we've been in business a year and a half, and now I'm trying to write all of these standard operating procedures to, for my nurses, essentially. So that's what I wish I would have done in the beginning, but you learn as you go. And then, those are really the main things that I would say. We kind of already covered that. And then kind of just something to know, it is not the best option to just start your business. You're like, oh, we'll figure it out as we go. Oh, we don't need to do that. We'll just figure it out as we go. You are setting yourself up for failure. I'm telling you, have systems, have standard operating procedures, have that for everything. It will set you up for success. Also tracking how much you're spending, how much. I like having the breakdown of okay, I know 28%, 25 to 28% is how much it costs for supplies. Now let's look at the end of the month. How much did I actually spend? And that kind of helps you see, oh, dang, we went way over, or we did good. And if you went way over, then you're able to go look key in, why? Why did we go over? And that will make your business more efficient. That way you can grow and scale and put more money in your pocket, because if there's a problem somewhere, then you're able to address it because you know what's going on instead of not tracking anything. And then the truth is, just being a nurse is not enough. You have to be willing to learn on the business side. And I love teaching that. So don't worry if you're like, how do I learn that? I literally teach a whole class on mobile IV therapy startup because I am here to help. So what can you do today or before you launch that can set you up for success? Number 1, know your monthly overhead. I knew when we started, it was going to take doing 5 infusions a month to cover our bills. Know that number. It doesn't have to be exact, just know. And you start to kind of calculate things in infusions. So know how much you need to pay and how many infusions it is. It'll give you peace of mind instead of being like, oh my gosh, I have to do at least $1,000 a month or $500 a month. That seems like a lot. Well, then you break it down oh shoot, that's only, 4 infusions a month. I can do that. Just know your monthly overhead. Do you have one marketing system in place that works? If not, you need to have a plan for it, because marketing after you get up and started is probably the number 1 thing you should be focusing on, because that is where your patients come from. And if you don't have something that works, you have no patients, essentially. So I have a whole video on marketing as well. I have an amazing marketing guy. I will link his information also below. And he is the same way. He loves to educate. You can reach out to him, tell him what you're looking for, what you need help with, and he can kind of guide you. Love him, 10 out of 10. Number 3, do you have a legal MD Do you have all of that in place? If not, then you need to go back to my lawyer video, because that will talk about legalities are huge. Legalities, the things you should be focusing on when you're starting a business. Number one, get your legal stuff in order. That way you know your business is protected and your license. Number two, the business aspect. Number three, learning about your the vitamin education. That way you can actually educate to your patients because you understand how it works. Number four is marketing. So those are the things that you need to have in place when you're actually starting up. If the answer is no, then make sure you really deep dive into that and key into it and find out those answers before you start, because it will set you up for success. I promise you. Nursing taught us how to be nurses, but it did not teach us the business side of things. So because of that, that is where I'm here to help. First of all, how I can help, you can hit subscribe, because guess what? 85% of people who watch me are not subscribed. And so by doing so, you will also get notified whenever I drop a new tidbit that can help you weekly, every Wednesday. And the other thing is, I have a course that will also be linked below. If you are wanting to start your infusion business, I break everything down, all the things you need to verify from the literally those 4 things I just talked about. I break all of that down in my mobile IV therapy startup course for nurses, specifically RNs. I get that a lot. Why can LPNs not do it? I think LPNs can, but I just do not know that structure, so I have it targeted for nurses. So I'm Tiffany. I will see you guys next Wednesday.